Hello plant friends, my name is Victoria and you're watching Plantastics. Today we're going to be looking at all the footage that I filmed in 2024 with the Atli Eon. So without further ado, roll the intro and let's get started. In getting better at time lapses, there's some learning that has to go on a bit. So you can notice in this video that there is some pretty intense flickering. And not only did I film a ton of time lapses throughout 2024, but I also learned a lot. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that made my time lapses better. So the flickering that you observed in that very first clip is called the stroboscopic effect, and it occurs when the camera's frame rate doesn't perfectly match with the frequency of the lights. So LED lights are switching on and off constantly, and when that misalignment happens, it can literally look somewhat like a strobe light. To prevent time-lapse flickering, a lens with a manual aperture control is generally recommended. The Atli Eon, from my understanding, does not have that. Something else you can have is an LED driver, which is something you plug your LED lights into. And an LED driver is basically a power supply that regulates the electrical current and prevents flickering. So all of those things were kind of above my understanding. So what I opted for was called an ND filter. So using a neutral density filter can allow you to shoot with a slower shutter speed, further reducing the potential for aperture fluctuation related flickering. The very specific ND filter that I used is the Eon 49mm ND8 filter, and I could only purchase this at the time on the Atli Eon website. So I was not able to find it on Amazon. I also went ahead and bought a silicone sleeve. So after that learning happened, I was able to, if you notice, in later videos not have flickering. Something else is that some LED lights are going to flicker significantly more than others. So the very first clip with the African violets, those are a cheaper light, and the lights that I ended up using mostly are Barina and also a light that I use. It's like a ring light that I've had for several years. So now to the actual flowers. So this actual orchid bloomed for me 2 times and it lost the blooms. It went through something called bud blast and it turns this brilliant orange red, almost looks like metal you've put into a fire for too long and it starts to kind of melt. You can also see it with this desert rose. So bud blast is something that people talk about. I thought it'd be cool to show actual time lapses of it because it is where your plant has gone from one area and environment of conditions, humidity, temperature to a different one. And that plant is in a state of shock. And what does it do? It basically says to itself, you know what? I really don't have to bloom right now. I'd be better off adjusting to this new environment. So then it just aborts the blooms. And that's why you have bud blast. That's like a very watered down version of why you can have it. There's other reasons as well. However, that's basically what I recorded multiple times with that same orchid. Now, this Stapelia Gigantea doesn't smell as bad as I thought it did, especially when I had multiple blooms. And this Hibiscus, we had our first freeze and I brought it inside and it put out 5 blooms, 4 in frame. One of the things that I'm still learning with doing time lapses is how far out I need to be in terms of distance from the actual bloom, because if you notice, the flowers are going to grow upwards or grow towards the light. So you can manipulate the flowers by placing the light where you want those to go. Not every flower is going to go towards the light. So orchid spikes are going to go towards the light. And then this one was a time lapse over top of that second hibiscus. So these are my miniature orchids. So at this point, this is when I realized that this camera does incredibly well with super small zoomed in options. So it has a manual focus. So you actually have to set it, and it does best if you leave a light on. Now, there are some areas where that's just not possible because I have a gecko and a betta fish, and they need their circadian rhythm. So I don't like to leave lights on 24 hours a day. So there are some like that don't have complete brightness. Now this is my Tolumnia Shushi, who is supposed to be like pink, and it turned out being like orange and yellow. How cool is that? But yeah, definitely catfish, did not match the pictures. And here we have Jolly Deer, unfortunately not getting watered because I have it in this light box. Also made my own light box, which was really cool. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I am now monetized, which means after 2 years, I'm actually making money from these videos, which is great because I was just doing them for fun. So if you'd like to further support the channel, be sure to subscribe and comment your favorite. I'll also have affiliate links from Amazon with items just like this, as well as items that I use every day to care for my plants. I'll earn a small commission at no additional cost to you. So until next time, I'll be seeing you. Goodbye.